What's going on, guys? Round 2, Steelers versus Ravens in Heinz Field, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, man, round 2, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field. Should be a damn good game, man. Steelers versus Ravens rivalry, one of the best rivalries in the league.
And of all time.
And of all time, man. And I expect a damn good game. I expect old school Steelers versus Ravens football because the stakes are high for both teams in this game, man.
The Steelers are going to try to stay up there for #1 seed in the AFC with the New England Patriots, and the Ravens are going to try to stay in the playoffs.
Exactly. And the Steelers can clinch the AFC North with a win. And, of course, the Ravens want to prevent that. They want to stay in the AFC wildcard picture. So they're obviously going to give it their all. Both teams are going to give it their all, going to give everything they got to win this game. So it very well could be old school Steelers versus Ravens football, man. I am extremely excited for this, man. Should be a damn good game. Potentially game of the week, potentially game of the year. Should be a damn good one. And Sunday Night Football should be a damn good one.
It's going to be an intense game.
Well, before we get into this game, man, I want to talk a little bit about the Steelers versus Ravens rivalry. We all know what it consists of. We all know it's exciting. Every time these two teams face off, it's one of the best rivalries. It's one of the best rivalries currently and of all time. You know, it's a must-watch, even if you're not a Steelers or Ravens fan. It's a must-watch all the time.
That's something you definitely need to tune into.
Right. Now, earlier this season, that was not the case because when we beat the Ravens in Baltimore in Week 4.
Back in Week 4.
Right. Earlier this season, it really wasn't exciting. It really wasn't much of a challenge that many fans expected. But knowing that the stakes are high for both teams in this game, and it's prime time, and it's late in the season, you know damn well these two teams are going to give everything and anything that they got.
These two teams are going to freaking go at it.
Yeah, these two teams are going to give it their all.
These two teams are going to stop at nothing to try to get a victory.
Exactly. So this very well could be a damn good game. I know it will be a damn good game, man.
It always is. No matter who's playing, it always is a damn good game.
It could be this very well could be another brutal game, man. Very brutal game.
Yeah,
like last week, but only one thing about the Steelers versus Bengals rivalry is it's hatred, not respect. But the Steelers versus Ravens rivalry, it's hatred but respect.
Yeah. And
I want to give a huge shout out to the Baltimore Ravens because I'm not sure if any of you guys know this, but I did see on Twitter that before the Ravens team meeting, they did say a prayer. They did give their respects, and they did pray for Ryan Shazier and his family. So huge shout out to the Ravens, man. That was absolutely awesome, man. Very respectful of the Ravens, and you know, we hate each other, but I love when that type of shit happens, man.
There's so much respect between the two of us.
Yeah, so huge shout out to the Ravens for doing that, man. Much respect to you guys.
And there's an update on Ryan Shazier. You know, he's still at the University of Cincinnati Hospital in Cincinnati, obviously.
He was diagnosed with a spinal contusion, and he has gained some movement in his lower extremities.
So that's very good news. That's something good to hear.
And obviously, movement does not return all at once, but it's good to know that he has some feeling, he has some movement in his lower extremities. So that's really good to hear. And
you know, his injury, his spinal contusion. I mean, Tommy Maddox back in 2002, he had that type of injury, but only missed one game. But considering Shazier is a defensive player, he's going to have to move all the time, just like a quarterback does. But you know, defenders are more aggressive and everything.
Right, but
so he's probably going to be out for the rest of the season, which would not surprise me.
Yeah, he'll be out a lot longer. But it's a good thing that his injury is not as severe as we all thought it was. It's good to hear that he's progressing well. And once his swelling in his legs go down, they'll be able to run some more tests on him, and they'll be able to diagnose him with anything that he has. But it's good to know that, it's not as severe as we all thought. So, Shazier, prayers to you and your family, man, and just get well soon, man. But anyway, into this game, man. The Ravens are currently 7-5, obviously second in the AFC North, and they are on a 3-game winning streak, so they're on a little hot streak.
Yeah, the Ravens' offense has actually been playing pretty well. Not like too well, but they're playing pretty well. Right. Their defense has been looking scary as heck.
Yeah, and their offense is starting to perform a little bit better. I mean, Joe Flacco just had his best game of the season last week against the Lions.
Probably his best game in quite a while.
Right. So, this Ravens team is different than Week 4. It is. Defense is a little bit scarier. It's a little bit stronger. And the offense is a lot better.
It's progressing a lot more.
Right. So, but one thing about the Ravens is they're 7-5, but they don't seem like a 7-5 team.
Because they're usually inconsistent, offense and defensively.
Yeah, I mean, they're very inconsistent. Their offense sucks, with the exception of their run offense. Their run offense is pretty good. And their defense it's one of the best in the league, but it's inconsistent. But I mean, but we all know what the Steelers and Ravens bring to the table anytime they face each other. So I expect a big game here.
Yep.
And I want to start with the Ravens defense. Jimmy Smith, who in my opinion is underrated and
very underrated,
and one of the anchors to that Ravens defense,
and perhaps their best defensive back, on the team. Perhaps,
right?
I know definitely their best cornerback, but perhaps their best defensive back.
Right. He is out for the season with Achilles injury, and plus he was just suspended for PED use. But he is out for this game. He's out for the rest of the season. So now that does open up opportunities for this offense, for this passing offense. It really does, because
Jimmy Smith is such a big key factor to that defense.
Right, and I'll give Jimmy Smith credit that he has done real good at covering AB the past few times that we faced the Ravens.
Exactly.
But with him out, and they're gonna have to depend on Marlon Humphrey, who's a rookie,
who I think is gonna be a freaking monster for him in the near future.
Yeah, he's doing real good. I believe he has 2 picks this season so far.
But as a rookie, filling in for a very good corner, Jimmy Smith, that's a big hole to fill in.
Right. Plus,
surely Cameron Sutton for the Steelers is doing the same thing, but still a big hole.
Right. And plus, we have, of course, Brandon Carr to go up against.
But he's better in the slot, not the outside. Usually when he's on the outside, he usually gets burned like almost every time.
Yeah, I mean, when he was sure. Him with the Cowboys, he was different. Him with Ravens, he's doing much better.
He's with a much better defense.
Plus, he has more help. He has more help with him.
But I still think he's terrible on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, we'll determine that this upcoming Sunday night.
Yep.
But they'll have to determine on Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Carr, and they'll probably move Ladarius Webb in the slot.
Considering when he was younger, he was a corner before he switched to safety, which probably was the best move for him.
Right, especially as he got older.
Exactly.
So, because most corners switch to safety when they get older, and it turns out the best for them. I mean, look at Rod Woodson.
Look at Charles Woodson.
And I'm not comparing Ladarius Webb to Charles Woodson or Rod Woodson because he's not that good. He's not as good as them. But I'm just saying, when cornerbacks,
it helped their career.
Yeah, it does. But I am not comparing him to those two. Those two are legendary first ballot Hall of Famers. Not comparing him to that, just so you guys know. But yeah, with Jimmy Smith out and them depending on those corners, that opens a lot of opportunities for this passing offense. But their secondary is still very good because they still have Eric Weddle and Tony Jefferson as the safeties who are very good. Eric Weddle's, he's getting up there with age, but he is having a hell of a season.
I mean, he's definitely improved that safety position for the Rams. I have to give him credit.
Yeah, but I feel like that this Steelers offense might have to win. They might have to depend on the ground game because the Ravens secondary is one of the best in the league. It's pretty good. It's very good,
without a doubt. But the running defense, it's okay.
It's their biggest weakness of their defense.
But back in our first meeting earlier this season, Bell had a tremendous game. I believe it was 144 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. I believe. Yeah. So Bell had a freaking hell of a game right there.
Yeah. So
and usually Bell performs very good at home and in primetime.
Exactly. So Bell's, especially since Bell's been on fire as of late.
Exactly.
Rushing and receiving. So I mean, we'll definitely use them in both aspects,
like we usually do.
But I think that he could have another great game rushing yards wise. But I think we might have to depend on the ground game more. But like I said, with Jimmy Smith out, that opens up a lot of opportunities for this passing offense. And
with Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, Eli Rogers, he's going to have to step in because Juju Smith-Schuster did end up getting suspended for his hit on Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah, and we want to talk about that a little bit. Now, I don't know what, I'm assuming it's a combination of his hit and the taunt. Now, the taunt was unnecessary, unsportsmanlike, unprofessional. Don't like it whatsoever.
It was unnecessary. It was unnecessary.
Going, standing on top of him and flexing, that's unnecessary. That's just too far. That's low.
But the block, in my opinion, was clean.
It was clean.
He was just getting a block for Le'Veon Bell.
Exactly. Now you have Rob Gronkowski who elbowed a guy in the head, Tre'Davious White, while he was on the ground and defenseless and after a play. While you have fucking Juju Smith-Schuster who was just making a simple block for his teammate during a play.
Considering that Vontaze Burfict was going after Bell to tackle him.
Yeah, he wasn't defensive. Plus he. It's not like he attacked him from behind. It's not like he, took out his leg or nothing.
Exactly.
He was just making a simple block for his teammate during a goddamn play.
No, I don't think he got suspended for the hit. I think he got suspended for the taunting.
It might have been a combination of both, but if he was suspended for the hit or for the taunt, that's just bullshit. That's not worth a suspension. The punishment does not fit the crime. Give him a fine. But no, they give
that's what I would have done.
But they give George fucking Iloka,
who suffered a one-game suspension for his head on Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown got the touchdown.
They reduced that to a fine, but not Juju Smith-Schuster's. So a helmet-to-helmet hit, which is honestly, in my opinion, more dangerous, more severe than what Juju did.
Considering how hard Iloka hit Brown, like that's around the head and neck area. That's not safe whatsoever.
Yeah. You guys, the NFL is so big on these helmet-to-helmet hits that, you know, they fine and suspend players, but you have Juju Smith-Schuster who's just making a simple fucking block, and he's suspended for the fucking taunt, but you have George Iloka who had a helmet-to-helmet hit, and it's a fine, but Juju's is a suspension.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Now, I want to say this about Vontaze Burfict, and we will get heat for us. I know damn well we will.
But Vontaze Burfict, I mean, he had it coming.
He had it coming because he's a bully. Bullies are going to get bullied back.
I mean, after everything that happened, especially with the Steelers, with attacking Big Ben, you know, low on the ankle, had elbowing, kneeing Big Ben's shoulder back in the playoff game.
Right.
You know, hitting Antonio Brown around the head and neck area, injuring Le'Veon Bell. Not even just the Steelers, with other teams in the NFL, like the Panthers, the Ravens.
Exactly. He prances around the NFL every week, every goddamn season. You know, intentionally injuring players. But when someone does it about it, Juju's the bad guy.
No, I wish Vontaze Burfict. I hope Vontaze Burfict is okay.
Oh yeah,
I hope he recovers well.
Vontaze is a great player. I hope he recovers well as well.
But he had it coming.
He had it coming. Bully's gonna get bullied back. I don't know, man, but anyway, Juju's not playing this game, so Eli Rogers, Justin Hunter, and Darius Heyward-Bey are gonna have to step up.
And the tight end's gonna have to do something. Jesse James, Vance McDonald, if he plays against Xavier Grimble.
Yeah, so
they have to do something.
These receivers gotta step up in this game. But either way, with Jimmy Smith out, this opens up a lot of opportunities for this passing offense, and Antonio Brown could very well have another big game.
He might.
I could see that.
I mean, he had a hell of a game with a toe injury.
Right.
He might have another hell of a game here.
Yeah, he had over 100 yards and a touchdown with 9 toes.
Basically, yeah.
That's crazy. That's just a little crazy. And when he's fully healthy against, yes, the Ravens' secondary and defense is a lot better than the Bengals. But I don't know. I just see a big game from this offense.
I mean, Brown's dealt with, you know, a lot better defenses. Like the Broncos a couple of years back when they had the #1 defense, he played phenomenal.
Right. I think it was the only 100-yard receiver that they allowed all season in the regular season.
I believe so.
So,
but looking at this game, you know, we may have to rely on the ground. The offense may have to try to win this game on the ground with Bell and maybe even Connor.
Right, but another thing I want to point out is that offensive line has to step up in here. Because that Ravens pass rush is very good.
It's very scary. Which obviously Terrell Suggs, you know, he's having a BC season like he usually does.
What's his name? Rookie. What the hell's his name?
Tyus Bowser.
There you go, Tyus Bowser.
I'm not sure if Tim Williams is playing. He's another rookie. I see him having a good potential. Possibly replacing Suggs.
Yeah, potentially. And you know, Matt Judon, who's been having a really good season so far.
Yeah, he's been playing freaking tremendous. Gotta watch out for him.
That's just to name a few players on that pass rush.
So this offensive line has to protect Ben, especially Chris Hubbard.
Yeah, and you know, after the way Ben was getting hit last week, I'm surprised he wasn't one of the unfortunate players to get injured.
I know, right?
Plus, they got to start opening more holes for Bell, especially in this game.
Exactly.
So, I mean, either way, I hope this offense has a big game. I hope they continue what they're doing. And we very well could use the passing offense more because, 1, Jimmy Smith is out, and 2, we've used the passing offense the past few games, and it's really helped us. It's really woken this offense. Because
it's actually helped our offense a lot.
Yeah, and we could very well use the passing offense down the stretch. And plus, Bell, who's been a monster in the passing game the past few games. I mean, he had 100 yards last week and a touchdown.
Against the Bengals, he's definitely a helping hand.
Yeah.
Especially with Juju Smith-Schuster suspended. We're definitely possibly going to use him a lot more.
Exactly. And plus, Antonio Brown, he's on pace for his best season of his career. And, Martavis Bryant, he's starting to get back into this offense.
He's starting to mix in well.
The other receivers just have to step up as well.
Exactly. So this offense has to do something against this scary Ravens defense.
Yeah. And now on to the Ravens offense. Their offense really isn't much.
I mean, they've played well throughout the past couple of weeks, but
yes.
I believe it's ranked number 30th ranked in the NFL.
I believe
total offense.
Now, their passing offense, they have no passing offense.
Joe Flacco is inconsistent. I mean, Jeremy Maclin, he hasn't done anything. Mike Wallace had a hell of a game against Detroit, but...
and correct me if I'm wrong, I think their leading receiver is Benjamin Watson. The old timer tight end.
And he's like in his mid-30s or something.
Yeah, I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's a very good tight end. He's very good.
But they really have no passing offense, and I think they're going to depend, or the Ravens' offense is going to depend on their rushing offense, which has been, that's basically been their entire offense.
And the rush offense is like 12th ranked in the league.
Yeah, their rushing offense is it's pretty good.
Alex Collins, he's played freaking very well throughout the past couple of weeks.
He is
throughout the entire season, really.
Yeah, he's their MVP offensive player. So
Javarius Allen's been able to get in there and help him as well.
Right, and
with the absence of Ryan Shazier, they may actually take advantage of that because Shazier's usually a very good run stopper, very good run stuffer.
Yeah, he's a major player for basically his entire defense. Pass coverage and especially run support.
Yeah, maybe even blitzing too. Losing Shazier is definitely probably going to be a major factor for this defense and in this game.
It will be, in my opinion.
I mean, Alex Collins, when we first, back in week 4, he had a very nice game, but he did have a costly fumble for the Ravens, and guess who stripped that?
Ryan Shazier.
And look, Joe Flacco also threw 2 picks. Guess what? Guess who intercepted 1?
Ryan
Shazier. Considering that he is not playing, it's really going to suck for this defense.
Yeah, it is. It really hurts his defense. It does. And huge shout out to Steel Maiden. He said in his Bengals victory lap that ever since the Detroit Lions game, Sunday Night Football, back in I believe it was week 8.
Week 8 or week 9.
Yeah, this defense hasn't performed the same that it did in the first half of the season. And I completely agree. It hasn't.
They've allowed a lot more big plays. With this defense has suffered injuries.
Yeah, and the losses of Ryan Shazier and Joe Hayden, it really hurts his offense or it hurts his defense even more.
Especially at first, Joe Hayden. We hardly ever allowed any big, 20-plus yard plays.
Yeah.
And ever since he got injured, we started allowing that.
And most of that was because of Cody Sensabaugh. And I'm not sure if he's going to be getting the start.
I don't think the way he performed, against the Bengals with A.J. Green, I don't think so. I think we're going to put Cameron Sutton in. And he did very well in the second half. Been able to contain A.J. Green just a bit.
Yeah, I saw some good things from him, and he might be getting the start opposed to Artie Burns. And speaking of Artie Burns, he's got to step up.
Oh yeah, he's definitely has to. He hasn't really done so much at all this season.
He's been lacking all season, so he's got to step up. Plus the defensive backs as well. So
I'm not sure if Mike Mitchell's coming to this game. I don't really think he's a big factor whatsoever. I still think he sucks.
Yeah. So either way, this entire defense has to step up, especially whoever's the number 2 inside linebacker.
Because obviously Vince Williams is going to have to, step in as that number 1. Tyler Matakavage, I'm pretty sure he's still,
I think he's still injured with a shoulder injury. However, I don't know how severe it is. I don't know how long he's going to be out.
I don't think there's any update, at least right now, but he's still dealing with a shoulder injury. LJ Ford, when he did come in, when Matakavage did get injured, he didn't do too bad, but I don't really have too much confidence into him.
I mean, he has, he's a veteran player. He has experience, but he hasn't really played a lot of football in the past few seasons. So,
but just yesterday, the Steelers did sign former Pittsburgh Steeler Sean Spence.
Yeah, and for those that don't know Sean Spence, he was our 3rd-round pick back in 2012, in the 2012 draft. First 2 seasons didn't do much because he was injured. Then his last 2 seasons, he started playing more and he showed some promise. He looked really good. And then we cut him. He went to the Titans, had a really good season.
Very good season.
And then he went to the Colts. They cut him, and then he came back to us. So it's cool to have him back in the black and gold. I love the signing.
Considering he knows his team, he knows the scheme. He knows Keith Butler. Considering
he was his linebacker coach and his defensive coordinator.
Exactly.
So it makes a lot of sense.
He knows the playbook. He has communication with the players.
Like Hayward, Tuitt, Mitchell, just to name a few. So and Harrison. So and speaking of Harrison, we might be using him more because of the absence of Shazier, and I hope we do.
Because usually Harrison does play very well against the Ravens.
Right. And we all know the history he has against them. So
especially Joe Flacco.
But yeah, either way, whoever's the number 2 inside linebacker is gonna have to step up big time.
Exactly.
But either way, this entire team's just gonna have to step up in this game, and the defense is gonna have to step up, and they have to step up to build momentum for next week. Because who do we face next week?
New England Patriots. Yeah, Another thing that this defense has to do in this game is the pass rush.
Yes.
In the first half against the Bengals, we did not have any pass rush whatsoever. Second half, yes, we did.
Yes.
We got 2 sacks. But that's about it.
So and plus the Ravens' offensive line isn't really much.
It's not really that good. I mean, Marshall Yonda's still out.
Right.
The whole offensive line just been freaking weak. Besides Ronnie Stanley, really.
Right. But either way, this pass rush has to get going. Either way, this entire defense has to get going to build momentum for next week, and so does this offense.
Exactly.
So keys to win this game is for the offense, utilize the run game, win on the ground, and just take advantage of opportunities, especially in the passing game. For the defense, get the Flacco, stop the run, and You know, just
try to cause some turnovers.
Yeah.
You have to try to cause some turnovers. I don't think we had a turnover in the past 2 games.
Yeah, because you know, just this entire team just feed off of one another. Because when you feed off one another, that makes a great performance.
And considering that Joe Flacco does turn over the ball, you know,
pretty often.
Yeah, you know, we have to take advantage of that. We have to get some turnovers.
Exactly. But either way, man, this should be a damn good fucking game. I'm excited. AFC North showdown, man. Steelers versus Ravens. I have a great feeling that we could very well see some old school Steelers versus Ravens football here.
No doubt in my mind, dude.
Because the stakes are high for both teams. Steelers are fighting for that #1 seed and the AFC clinch. Well, to clinch the AFC North, I'm sorry.
And the Ravens are still fighting to, you know, stay in the playoffs.
To stay in the wild card picture. So, both teams, the stakes are high for both teams. So, this should be a damn good game. Both teams are going to give everything and anything that they got to win this game. They're going to give it their all. Should have a hell of a game, man. Should be a damn good game. It's going to be intense.
It's going to be difficult for both teams.
I see a damn good game, man. Old school Steelers versus Ravens football. It's gonna be a damn good matchup. And Sunday Night Football, prime time in Heinz Field. It's gonna be a hell of a game. I'm excited.
Oh, I am too, man. I cannot wait for this game.
Should be a damn good game, man. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, and let's get this dub. Let's stay at the #1 seed in the AFC. Let's get momentum for next week, and
let's advance 11-2.
And let's clinch this AFC North, man. And let's just get this win, man. Should be a damn good game.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace.